mga ka-Isip Math, magandang araw po sa ating lahat and welcome to Isip Math Tutorial. And for today's video, pag-usapan po natin yung Grade 8 Mathematics Quarter 4 Module 7 at ang ating topic ay number of occurrences of an outcome in an experiment. Nung previous po natin na video, yung sa Module 6, napag-usapan natin doon yung experiment, sample space, outcome, at saka yung event. Okay, tapos ngayon, we'll be talking about number of occurrences of an outcome in an experiment. So, alam naman na po natin na pag sinabi experiment, kumbaga meron kang ginawa, tapos meron siyang result, that is your outcome. Diba? Okay, so let's proceed. Our learning competencies, we have here the learner counts the number of occurrences of an outcome in an experiment. Letter A, table. Letter B, tree diagram. And letter C, systematic listing. And D, fundamental counting principle. Our objectives at the end of the lesson, the students are expected to identify the number of occurrences of an outcome in an experiment using the table, identify the number of occurrences of an outcome in an experiment using tree diagram and systematic listing, and last, identify the number of occurrences of an outcome in an experiment using fundamental counting principle. And for our lesson number 1, we have here counting the number of occurrences of an outcome in experiment using table. Okay, so table po. So, counting the number of occurrences of an outcome in experiment using table, yung tinatawag natin na table outcomes is a table where the first row and the first column represents the possible outcomes in each event. Okay? And it can be used to represent the sample space. So, para mas maintindihan pa natin, we have here an example. Okay, suppose you were going to toss a red and blue dice. So, may dalawang dice. Yung isa red, yung isa blue. So, letter A, draw up a table of outcomes to show all the possible outcomes. Diba? We'll make a table na makikita doon yung mga possible outcomes. Then B, list the sample space. And letter D, determine the number of possible outcomes. And letter C, and then for letter D, basing on the table that you created, identify the probability of getting a 5 on a blue dice. And for letter E, basing on a table that you are created, identify the probability of rolling a 4 on the red dice and 2 on the blue dice. Okay, so we have here the table for letter A, diba? Using the outcomes of the blue dice at the first column and the outcomes of the red dice as the first row. We can fill that we can fill in the table of outcomes. So, diba, yung isa blue dice tsaka yung isa red dice. And alam naman natin na yung dice ay meron siyang 6 faces, diba? May 6 na mukha. So, yung isa may tatak na 1, kabila 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Same also with the red dice, diba? Okay, so suppose yung first row po natin, pag inyan natin yung dalawang dice, yung blue at saka yung red. So, paglapag dun sa floor, pwede din ang result na yung sa blue ay 1, tapos yung red ay 1 din. Pwede din na yung si blue ay 1, si red is 2. Ito yun. Pwede din na si blue is 1, yung red is 3. Pwede din na si blue 1, tapos si red is 4. Partner po sila, di ba? Kasi may dalawang dice, so may dalawang resulta. Okay, pwede din na si blue is 2, tapos si red 1. Diba? Pwede din na si blue 2 and si red is also 2 and so on. Depende. Pwede din na si blue is 6 tapos si red is 4. Diba? Pares-pares po sila. Okay, so in the table of outcomes above, for example, we have B1 or blue 1, R3, red 1 represents the rolling a 1 on the blue dice and a 3 on the red dice. So, ibig sabihin nito, pag roll po natin ng dice, siguro ang resulta ay si blue ay 1, tapos si red ay 3. So, based sa kanilang mga possible outcomes, isa lang yung resulta na blue 1 at saka red 3. Okay, so this is for our letter A. Gumawa po tayo ng table of outcomes. For our letter B, sample space. So, using the table of outcomes, we can list the sample space abbreviating R for red and B for blue. Diba? Okay, balik tayo dito sa table. Diba? Yung B is blue, yung R is red. Okay, so sample space. So, ang ating gagawin ay lahat ng mga possible outcomes, sila po yung ating sample space. Tapos, we will do this one. We have S stands for sample space is equal to, we have this bracket. Lahat ng mga possible outcomes nilagay natin dito sa loob ng bracket. So, sila po yung sample space. Okay? Tapos, yung R is for red, yung B is for blue. Okay? So, let's continue. For letter C, possible outcomes. So, there are 36 possible outcomes because if we go back to the table, if we count this one, the result is 36. So, ito po sila yung mga possible outcomes. So, ang answer ng letter C is 36. Okay, now, for letter D, probability of getting a 5 on the blue dice. Okay, so since there are 6 possibilities of getting 5 on the blue dice, we have B5, yung kapares sa IC R1. We have also B5, yung kapares sa IC R2. And we have B5, yung kapares sa si R3. And B5, kapares si R4. And B5, kapares si R5. And B5, kapares si R6. So, the probability is 6 out of 36. Getting 5 on the blue dice, so pasok po siya kasi 6 po yung possibilities niya. So, therefore, we can say that the probability is 6 out of 36. So, therefore, 6 out of 36 kasi 36 is the whole possible outcomes. Tapos, yung my B5 is only 6. So, therefore, 6 out of 36 or 6 over 36 or simply as 1 over 6. Now, for letter E, probability of rolling a 4 on the red dice and 2 on the blue dice. Okay? Since there is only one outcome of getting 4 on a red dice and 2 on a blue dice, this one, we have blue 2, B2, and red 4 or R4, the probability is 1 out of 36 or 1 over 36. If we go back to our table, kung paano po siya kinuha, okay, kung nakikita natin dito, isa lang yung resulta na ang result niya ay B2 at saka R4. Diba? Blue dice na 2 at saka red dice na 4. Okay. Okay. Ito, B2. We have here B2 at saka R4. So, out of 36, isa lang ang result na makadraw po tayo na lalabas yung blue na 2 at saka red na 4. So, therefore, ang ating answer ay 1 out of 36 or 1 over 36. So, I hope nag-gets po yung ibig nating sabihin. Okay, let's continue. We have here lesson number 2, counting the number of occurrence of an outcome in experiment using the tree diagram and systematic listing. So, this time, tree diagram at saka systematic listing. Ano po yung tree diagram? Tree diagram is a device consisting of line segments emanating from a starting point and from the outcome point. It is used to determine all possible outcomes of probability experiment. Tree diagrams are a way of showing combination of 2 or more events. Each branch is labeled at the end with its outcome and the probability is written beside the outcome. So, para mas maintindihan po natin, we have here the example. Okay, suppose you were going to flip a coin and roll a dice once. So, meron tayo isang coin at isang dice. Tapos, we'll throw that one. Flip natin yung coin, throw natin yung dice. Isang beses lang. So, for letter A, draw a tree diagram of the sample space. Para makita natin yung sample space using tree diagram. Then, list the sample space. Then C, basing on the tree diagram that you created, identify the number of outcomes. And then basing on the tree diagram that you created, write the probability of getting each outcome. Okay, so we have here the tree diagram for letter A. If we toss a coin, di ba, yung possible outcome niya is either heads or tails. Di ba? Tapos sa dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Siguro, if we toss a coin at the same time roll a dice, yung result ay si head or heads. Tapos si die or si dice is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Pwede din na yung result ay tails. Diba? Tapos yung result ni dice ay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So from this tree diagram, makuha natin yung outcomes. Diba? So, outcome na posible ay si head, tapos si dice ay si 1. Pwede din kay coin head, tapos si dice is 2. Pwede din na head, si coin, tapos si dice is 3. Then, head, dice is 4. Head, dice is 5. Ito. Then, head, dice is 6. Okay, ito yung possible outcomes natin. Pwede din na si tail, yung result ng coin. Tapos yung kaparis niya na dice, ang resulta ay 1. So, T and 1. Pwede din na tail, tapos 2 si dice. 3 si dice, tail si coin. Diba? T3. Then, tail 4. Or tail 5, then tail 6. So, therefore, probability, ito yung outcome. Tapos sa probability natin, ang resulta ay 1 over 12. Bakit 12? Kasi yung possible outcomes po ay 12. We have this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pero, isa lang po ang lalabas na head 1, head 2, head 3, head 4, head 5, head 6, tail 1, tail 2, tail 3, tail 4, tail 5, tail 6. So therefore, 1 out of 12 or 1 over 12. Okay, so that's for our letter A. And for letter B, we have sample space. Using the tree diagram, we can list the sample space abbreviating H for heads and T for tails. So yung sample space po natin ay naging ganito. S is equal to yung bracket po natin. Head 1, head 2, head 3, head 4, head 5, head 6. Tail 1, tail 2, tail 3, tail 4, tail 5, and tail 6. So if we count this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So ito po yung sample space po natin. Okay? Then for letter C, number of possible outcomes. So there are 12 possible outcomes, di ba? If we count yung sample space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, sila po yung mga possible outcomes. Possibly na resulta if we're going to do the experiment. Okay? Then for letter D, probability of each outcome. Okay, so the probability of getting each outcome is 1 over 12. Kasi isa lang po na lalabas si H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and T6. So, 1 out of 12 or simply as 1 over 12. Okay. So, okay. So, ito po yun. Now, punta tayo sa counting the number of occurrences of an outcome in an experiment using systematic listing. Okay, so this time, systematic listing. The outcomes of an event can be listed in an organized or systematic way to make sure that none of the possible outcomes is missed out. Look for patterns to help find all the outcomes. Okay. So we have here the example. How many different 3-digit numbers can be made using the digits 3, 6, and 9 without repetition? Okay, so using this systematic listing. Solution, first, find all the numbers that can start with 3. Diba? May 3 digit. Ila kayang different 3-digit number na magawa natin using these digits 3, 6, and 9. So first, find all the numbers that can start with 3. So, pwedeng 369 or 396. Then second, find all the numbers that start with 6. Pwedeng 639, 693. Then find all the numbers that start with 9. So, pwedeng 936, 963. Okay, so there are 6 possible numbers. Okay, base atin nakuha dito, meron siyang 6 na possible numbers. So, we have 369, 396, 639, 693, 936, at saka 963. 3. So, ang ating answer dito sa question na how many different 3-digit numbers can be made using the digits 3, 6, and 9 without repetition, walang repetition po siya, ang answer ay there are 6 3-digit numbers can be made using the digits 3, 6, and 9. Okay, kasi without repetition po siya. Okay, so that's for the first example of our systematic listing. Now, for the second example, we have here, there are 4 number cards as shown below. We have here 8, 4, 2, 1. How many different 3-digit numbers can we form without repetition? So, using again the systematic listing, first is find all the numbers that can start with 8. Since 3-digit lang out of 4 cards, so we can have here 841, 842, 821, 824, 814, 812. And for the numbers that start with 4, we have here the result. And for the numbers that start with 2, we have also here the result. And the numbers starts with 1, we have here the result. So therefore, if we count this one, magiging yung result natin ay mayroon isang 24 possible numbers. Diba? Out of 4 cards, makapagbuo po tayo ng 24 na possible 3-digit numbers. Diba? So therefore, ang ating answer ay 24 3-digit numbers that can be formed from the given 4 number cards. Okay, so that's for our systematic listing. And for our lesson 3, we have here counting the number of occurrences of an outcome in an experiment using fundamental counting principle. This time, fundamental counting principle. So, for example, we have here, what is the total number of possible outcomes when a dice is rolled and a coin is tossed once? Okay, so for our solution, we have here, there are 6 possible outcomes when a die is rolled. Okay, kasi merong 6 na faces, di ba? Yung dice. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And 2 possible outcomes when a coin is tossed, either heads or tails. Okay, next. So, that's for our example number 1, di ba? Ito po yung fundamental counting. I-count lang po natin. Okay, so since isang dice at saka isang coin ay toss natin once, so result, ang possible outcomes ay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the dice and 1, 2 for the coin. Diba? Dalawa kasi head or si tails. For example number 2, a milk tea shop offers 12 different flavors of milk tea and 4 types of toppings. How many possible combinations of milk tea flavors and toppings are there? So, meron 12 different flavors at saka 4 types of toppings. Solution, the 12 flavors of milk tea multiplied by 4 types of toppings is equal to the total outcomes of 12 times 4. So, merong 48. Kasi, since meron siyang 12 different flavors at saka 4 na toppings, so what we're going to do is, we'll just multiply that one. So, the answer is 48 possible combinations of milk tea flavors and toppings. Okay? So, we can easily calculate the number of possible outcomes by multiplying the number of possible rolls of dice with the number of outcomes of tossing a coin. Yung kanina, example number 1. The 6 possible outcomes for rolling a dice multiplied by 2 outcomes of tossing a coin is equal to the total outcomes of 6 times 2 is equal to 12. So therefore, there are 12 total number of possible outcomes when a dice is rolled and then a coin is tossed. Ito po yung sa ating example number 1. Okay, so I hope na naintindihan po natin yung mga ibig natin sabihin. Medyo complicated na konti yung ating lesson. Kasi ano na to, lesson number 7 or module number 7 na po tayo sa ating grade 8 mathematics. So this is part of our lesson na sa probability. Okay? So once again, this is me, Teacher Koy. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can follow us on Facebook, Easy Math Tutorial. Join us on Facebook, Teacher Fast, or you can email me at easymathtutorial@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. See you on my next video.